Hello and welcome to Hounslow Education Partnership Develop Your A-Level Teaching, or DAT as it's more commonly known. My name is Sally Yarrow. I'm the CEO and Executive Head Teacher of the Green School Trust, and the Green School Trust runs two schools in Hounslow, the Green School for Boys and the Green School for Girls, which are both secondary schools. And my role here is to oversee the DAT programme as the lead head teacher, but all the work and creativity and planning is being done by my colleagues in other schools who are senior leaders or directors of sixth form. So why be part of this programme? Well, the last 18 months or so has been a significant challenge for all of us in education. And what we've learned from it, above all, is how important it is to connect with each other and to collaborate, to learn and to share and to support. And DAT is all about that in terms of teaching at A-level, working with other colleagues, sharing ideas, brainstorming, thinking things through, and with practical application. And I already know that the sessions planned have been planned with real care and real thought about what is going to be the most effective way of sharing good ideas with teachers who we know are extremely busy and have a lot to contend with. And so the thinking behind the programme is to be as useful and as practical as possible, and the content is being developed by teachers, by people who are actually delivering this on a day-to-day basis. So it won't be just theory, but it'll be full of practical ideas and easy, quick wins for those who participate, and hopefully generate collaboration and collegiality across the schools, which is so important, and so what HEP is all about as well. And why have we developed this programme? Well, over the years, the outcomes at A-level across the borough have not been as strong as GCSE. And so together we have focused on this area to support one another in each of our schools in order to make the best possible opportunities and deliver the best possible outcomes for our students in the London Borough of Hounslow. And that's why this programme has been put together. It's already run successfully for the last year or two, and now it's moving into the next phase, and we really hope that you're going to join us, participate, contribute, and it'll make a real difference. So I invite you to continue to watch the videos, learn a little bit more in detail about the programme, meet the people behind the ideas, and join us for DAT 2021 to 2022.
Hello, my name is e.pett. I'm the Secondary Project Manager at Hounslow Education Partnership. Firstly, thank you very much to Sally for her introduction to the programme for this year. I'm really excited to now be working on the third year of Develop Your A-Level Teaching and working with you all to ensure that it is as effective and as collaborative and as high quality as we can possibly make it. Back when I was a chemistry A-level teacher, I'm sure I would have been really grateful for the time to spend with fellow subject teachers, really fine-tuning our skills and our teaching and learning. So just to give you a bit of background on what Hounslow Education Partnership is and what we do and what our role is within Develop Your A-Level Teaching. There's a really strong historical reputation for collaborative networking, partnership working across the borough. From your head teachers, your schools have been doing this for many, many years, and Hounslow Education Partnership is a formal kind of recognition of that partnership that has existed for quite some time prior to. Just like many other London boroughs, the Education Partnership is a school-led improvement partnership. All of our programmes, all of our projects are all led by your head teachers, your SLT, and their big ideas, their big thinking is what is then turned into the programmes that are rolled out for the teachers to involve themselves with. So We have 15 schools involved in Develop Your A-Level Teaching this year, but there are 75 member schools across Hounslow Education Partnership, right through primary through to secondary, colleges, alternative provision, all of those schools seeing the huge benefit that there is to being part of this network, part of this partnership, sharing all the great practice that goes on in schools in Hounslow. So I just thought it'd be useful to really quickly share with you what the 4 key priorities are for HEP, and how they kind of align with what we're intending to achieve with Develop Your A-Level Teaching. So obviously it's to do with raising standards, it's building those connections from school to school, from one biology department to the next, one English department to another, be it geographically close or on opposite sides of the borough. And obviously we're investing in that support to make sure that there is really high quality teaching going on for the young people in the borough. So as I said, the logistics behind the programme are my key role in this. All of the big thinking, all of the ideas, all of the great research and reading and blogs have all been found by the 3 members of the working group who I'm now going to hand over to. So Hannah, Juliette and Graham, big thank you for all your input to this. As I said, if there's anything kind of logistically that you want to find out more about, please do email me, but I'm very much looking forward to working with you all for this academic year. Thanks very much.
Hello everybody, my name is Hannah Dolan and I am the Director of Sixth Form at the Green School. My job here today is to talk you through the content overview of the Develop Your A-Level Teaching programme for this year. And I'd just like to start off by saying that everything that we have planned and that we'd like to do this year is still very much underpinned by those 4 HEP principles of education and teaching and learning. I'm sure you know what they are, but just in case you need a refresher, they are introducing new knowledge, application, reviewing material, and guided independent practice. And that last one, I always think sounds a little bit oxymoronic, because how can something be both guided and independent? But essentially, it's that journey. We know that when we get our students in year 12, they've only ever really been guided, dare I even say spoon-fed, through GCSE. But by the time they leave in year 13 to go to university or out into the wider world of employment or apprenticeships, they need to be independent and they need to be able to manage their own learning. And so it's our job to sort of guide them through that process of becoming independent and give them the confidence to be so. And that's definitely something we're going to work on throughout this programme. So an overview of the content. Well, first I started thinking, well, what are we actually trying to achieve? And obviously we want learners who are confident, who are engaged in the lessons, active participants in their learning, and who ultimately, as I've said, are able to become independent and to take ownership and control of that learning. So in order to do that, we've gone a bit old school. Back to the start, we've gone with the 3 R's, which of course are reading, writing, and in this case, rhetoric, or any other word beginning with R that means speaking. So essentially, yes, reading, writing, and oracy are the 3 focuses that we've decided to go with this year. And essentially, each session is going to start with a core question. So in session 1, the core question will be, how do we create the conditions to enable academic oracy in our classrooms? And what we're intending to do there is to give you obviously some of the theory around academic oracy, but link it to practical strategies that you can take away and you can actually use in your lessons. We want to build confidence in the learners. So often, especially in year 12, but actually sometimes right the way through, students are afraid to make suggestions, to volunteer answers, to enter into debates and discussions because they're so worried about being wrong or not having the right answer. And what we're trying to do is to develop collaborative thinking, discussion, debate, so that students can work together to arrive at solutions, to discuss points of view. And essentially, we want to try and get rid of that scary silence in the classroom, which is productive for nobody, and for us as teachers, very frustrating. So we're going to do some work around that in the first session. The second session then will lead on to reading, with the core question being, how do we develop reading in our subject to be more academic and scholarly? And we want to respond to some student voice here. You know, we know that students don't read as much as they should. We know that students tend not to read for pleasure, and wider reading is a little bit of a bad word. It's something that makes them roll their eyes and sigh quite a lot. So we want to actually ask them, well, what are those barriers to reading? What is it that's stopping them? Why do they find it difficult? Are they having trouble sourcing the right material? Is it that when they do source the material, they don't understand it fully? Because if we know what some of the barriers are, we can then work out ways to address them. So we will do some research before that session, and then hopefully we'll be able to respond to some of those barriers raised by student voice. We also want to explore the theories of disciplinary literacy and what that actually looks like for your subject. Again, like I've referenced already, we're going to talk about how to source articles, how to source appropriate research. That's something that will probably be done down at subject level in the breakout groups. And also note-taking. What does note-taking look like for your subject? What's the best way for your students to actually take notes from the reading they're doing, as opposed to doing that thing where they just print 20 pages from Wikipedia and get a highlighter out and do some colouring in. What we also want then, and this links back to the first session, we want them to be able to use their academic reading to then inform their sophisticated debate, their discussion, so that they can be drawing on the reading that they've done as evidence, counter evidence, whatever it might be. So the idea is that the two sort of feed into each other and are interchangeable. There's also this question of when and how do we let go? In terms of that idea about guided independent practice, at what point do we stop spoon feeding and giving the students the articles to read and let go and send them off to do their own research? And how do we do that? How do we essentially scaffold them becoming independent researchers? And that's something that we're going to have a look at. In session 3, we focus a little bit more on writing, but ironically, we're actually taking a verbal approach to writing. So how does our feedback enable students to improve their academic writing is the question. And we want to use verbal feedback to improve written work. We've got an established model from UCL, which works really, really well about giving verbal feedback. It also promotes quick wins for teachers. You know, we're trying to get rid of that lengthy marking session where you end up writing twice as much as the student wrote in their answer to start off with. And actually engage students in a verbal discussion about their writing, whether it be an exam question, an essay they've written, something they've done in a lesson for practice, and have a discussion about the strengths, the weaknesses, the areas for development, because that in itself promotes more active learning, more engagement with actual feedback and buy-in from the learners. Again, as opposed to that thing where you've written them a paragraph and a half of feedback, but all they do is look to see what mark they've got at the bottom of the page and completely ignore all of that brilliant advice that you've been giving. So hopefully you will all be able to go away with things that are not going to take too much time, but are going to make a massive, massive difference in your classroom. So thank you very much, and we will see you all at the sessions. Bye-bye.
Hi, it's Juliette Coro here from Gumley House School. I'm Director of Learning here at Gumley. I teach A-level French and Spanish, and I'm also looking after all our ECTs, our ITTs, and the CPD program for teaching and learning. We're very excited here at Gumley to be part of HEP. Every year we have all our teachers joining in, and from different expertise levels, whether we are expert teachers or whether we are new qualified teachers or new to A-level even. It's really important for us that we really network with a bunch of amazing teachers that are in Hounslow. For us as well, it's an opportunity to listen to what's gone well into other schools, but also to share practice together. So in this year, the breakout rooms and the keynotes are going to be a little bit different, following your feedback and what you have shared with us last year. So this year, the keynotes are going to be delivered online. That avoids traffic, and also allows us to watch it with a cup of tea, which is so much better, especially in the cold months. The keynotes are going to be a bit shorter, and so we have more time in our subject breakout sessions, and they are very important, and it's a huge collaboration between all the HEP schools here in Hounslow. We produce these keynotes collaborating with experts in our fields, but also we want to make sure that you can access them later. So they're all going to be pre-recorded and live on the HEP YouTube channel, so you can watch them again later. There will be a short introduction to provide a stimulus discussion in our subject breakout sessions. So the point of this year is really to have a stimulus, something sharp and clean to really get us going, and how we're going to move literacy, how we're going to move our academic writing in our subject. The keynote might be an expert teachers who have already embedded things in their schools, or it may be student voice as well, because it's really important that we hear from our students and how they feel about about things in the classroom, they are the primary customers of what we do. So it's important we hear their voice as well in the keynote. In terms of breakout sessions, they will be longer, as we said, so we have more time to identify what we need to improve, what we need to work on, but also a really good platform and opportunity for us to share best practice and do some group planning exercises together. So the sessions are facilitated by expert practitioners. They have been selected by SLT in your schools. Their role is to facilitate the discussion, make sure the conversations are flowing, and they're ensuring that everybody's voice is heard. So it's really important that everybody's cameras are on, that everybody participates and share ideas and share practice. This year, what we would like to do is to have an opportunity for sharing our resources before the sessions. What it means is that everybody can share screen and everybody can actually discuss, well, I've used this and I've tried this, and everybody has a share amount of sharing. Otherwise, we tend to have a situation where it's always the same people who share their ideas. So we would just really want to have an equal amount of sharing, whether you are an expert in what you do, or whether you're a newly qualified teacher, or maybe you just want to refresh your memory and you're kind of new to the subject. So we really try to make also the groups so that everybody has a different level of experience. And as teachers, whether you've been teaching 20 years or whether you've been teaching 3 years, we are all here to work as a community and learn together. So we really hope you find those sessions useful. And as usual, we listen to your feedback. So please do share with us how we can even improve them better next year. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Graham McNamara. I'm Director of Sixth Form here at Chiswick School and also an A-level biology teacher. I've been lucky enough to work with Emma and Hannah and Juliette this year to develop the programme around your Develop Your A-level Teaching CPD for next year. We're really excited about the overarching theme and how it builds across the 3 sessions. And I'd like to take some time to build upon what my colleagues have went through and talk about how the feedback and what you do between those sessions will be really important to ensure that continuation of that reoccurring theme. The first aspect is around feedback, and we would really appreciate that after each session that if our evaluation note can be filled out, and this would be an evaluation of the keynote speaker and also the subject breakout sessions. We found the feedback from last year to be really helpful and has helped us shape a lot of what this year looks like. So we really encourage to get that into us as soon as possible. The next section is we appreciate that not all schools can send all members of staff in their departments. And with this, we'd really encourage the staff members who have been assigned to come to the Develop Your A-level Teaching programme this year to bring back and disseminate that content, not only of the subject breakout sessions, but also the keynote speaker sessions. This can take shape in department time. This can take place in teaching and learning briefings. And we really want to push that everyone, regardless of whether they can come or not in the borough, is really benefiting from this CPD. And lastly, staying in contact between each of the 3 sessions we feel is a very important aspect this year, especially in terms of the reoccurring theme, looking at excellence, academic excellence across. And with this, we would really like subject breakout facilitators to set up an email thread following each session. This will be a chance for the subject breakout members to share their experiences of putting these techniques into practice, seeking advice from each other, what went well, what didn't work well, and that would really flow into the next meeting and will get people more familiar with each other and working across the borough around our A-level teaching more fluidly. I really hope that you gain some really insightful experiences this year. And I look forward to seeing some of you in the biology sessions that I'm lucky enough to facilitate. Thank you.